30 days ago, I walked into a lab and had my blood drawn. My cholesterol was borderline high. My inflammation markers were creeping into "I'll watch this" territory. My doctor didn't seem worried. She said it was normal for someone my age. I wasn't okay with normal, so I did something strange. I stopped eating the way I always had, and for 30 days straight, I ate exactly like the people in the 5 places on Earth where humans routinely live past 100. No diet plan, no supplements, no calorie counting. Just what they eat. Then I walked back into that same lab. What came back on the second test is the reason my doctor stopped scrolling through my chart and actually looked up at me. I'm going to show you those exact numbers at the end of this video, but first, you need to understand why this diet works, because it has almost nothing to do with what you think healthy eating means. In the early 2000s, researcher Dan Buettner and a team of longevity scientists went looking for the places on Earth with the highest concentration of people living to 100 and beyond. They found 5: Okinawa, Japan; Sardinia, Italy; Icaria, Greece; Nicoya, Costa Rica; and Loma Linda, California, home to a large Seventh-day Adventist community. They called these places blue zones. What's strange is that these 5 regions have almost nothing in common culturally. Different languages, different religions, different climates, different continents. But when researchers looked at what these centenarians actually ate, day after day, decade after decade, the same patterns kept showing up, patterns almost nobody in a Western supermarket is actually living by, even the people who think they're eating healthy. That gap between what we assume is healthy and what actually correlates with a 100-year lifespan is exactly what I wanted to test on myself. I built 4 rules from the research, and I didn't allow myself a single exception for 30 days. Rule 1: beans every day, not as a side dish, as the base of at least 1 meal. Okinawans eat soy and tofu daily. Sardinians and Nicoyans build meals around fava beans, black beans, and lentils. Some longevity researchers estimate centenarians in these regions eat roughly a cup of beans a day. Rule 2: meat became a garnish, not a meal. Blue zone populations eat meat only a handful of times a month, in small portions, think a couple of ounces, not a plate-sized cut. Rule 3: stop eating at 80% full. This is the Okinawan practice called hara hachi bu, a deliberate pause before you feel completely full. Rule 4: no processed snacks, ever. If it didn't grow or wasn't made from something that grew, it wasn't on my plate. The first week was the hardest, not because I was hungry, but because I realized how much of my normal diet was built on convenience, not food. Cutting processed snacks meant I had to actually plan meals for the first time in years. By week 2, something I didn't expect happened. The 3 p.m. energy crash I'd had for years, the one I always blamed on not enough coffee, disappeared. I wasn't tired in the afternoons anymore. Week 3 is when I almost quit. A work trip meant airports, and airports are not built for a blue zone diet. I made mistakes. I ate a burger. But instead of spiraling, I just went back to the plan the next meal because, unlike a rigid diet, this way of eating isn't about perfection. It's about a pattern repeated most days for decades, not a streak you break and restart. By week 4, my clothes fit differently. My sleep was more consistent, and this is the part that made me actually nervous to get the blood work done. I genuinely felt different in a way I couldn't fully explain with weight or energy alone. Here's what changed in 30 days. My LDL cholesterol dropped meaningfully, enough that my doctor asked me, unprompted, what I'd changed. My inflammation marker, HSCRP, moved from the "watch this" range into the normal range. My fasting blood sugar came down slightly, even though I never once counted a calorie. My doctor's exact reaction was some version of, "Whatever you're doing, keep doing it," followed by a lot of questions, because the numbers moved more in 30 days than she typically expects to see from lifestyle changes alone. To be clear, this is a sample size of 1. It's not a clinical trial, and your body isn't my body. But it lines up almost exactly with what large population studies on blue zone eating patterns have found for decades. This isn't a fad. It's just food humans have quietly been eating in these 5 places the whole time. If you've made it this far, here's my honest take. The hardest part of this experiment wasn't the food, it was unlearning the idea that healthy eating has to be complicated, expensive, or restrictive. It's beans, vegetables, a little fish, a lot less meat, and stopping before you're stuffed. That's basically it. If you want to try even a modified version of this, even just adding 1 bean-based meal a day, drop a comment with which blue zone habit you think would be hardest for you to keep for 30 days. I read every comment on these videos, and I'll pin the ones I think are most honest. And if this video actually changed how you think about your next grocery trip, hit subscribe, because next week I'm testing the diet that claims to reverse metabolic age by 10 years. And you're going to want to see those blood work numbers too.